software's liquidation and expense fulfillment logic. We're taking a look first at our cash flow chart, and I'm going to do this in the Let's See section. So let's go to Let's See single chart. We're going to take a look at our cash flow chart, and I think this is going to be a little bit easier if we turn on our details button. So we can see a lot of color in the chart by doing this. And just as a reminder, each bar in the chart is signifying a year in the plan. That black total need line represents the total expenses. That means all goals, all expenses, all estimated taxes in the plan. And all of the various colors represent all of the various sources of income and assets that we're using to fulfill those expenses. So how does the software determine what we're using to fulfill all of those various expenses in the plan? The expense fulfillment logic in the software is we're going to look for employment income first, then we're going to look for all available other incomes. So for example, in this first year, we have some rental income coming into the plan. And then in the retirement years, we're going to be looking for things like state pensions, like our CPP, QPP, or OAS income. And then we're going to move to our liquidation order. You can find your liquidation order in the dashboard by going down to Plan Settings. In the liquidation order section is where you can adjust your liquidation order. The default setting in my liquidation order in this example is that we're going to first liquidate their non-registered assets, then they're going to go to tax-free and then registered. We can move these items up and down and adjust them however we would like to. We can also move things from the left-hand side to the right-hand side if you have specific accounts that you want to move into the liquidation order. So for example, if they have a line of credit that you want to liquidate as a priority, you could move it over into the liquidation order, or you could move it back. So this is where you can control what gets spent after their cash and, for example, in the retirement years, any sort of CPP, QPP, or OAS covers expenses. So let's click Done to save and take a look now that we've seen what we're using first. So you'll have noticed that non-registered was at the top, and you'll notice here that after we've used cash, our non-registered savings is getting liquidated first in compliance with our liquidation order. And then we're going over to our registered, and then we don't have any tax-free accounts in this plan. The next thing I want to show you is that you do have the ability to more tightly control liquidation in the Voyant software if you would like. You can leave it at a high level to just let the liquidation order work, or if you want to more tightly control withdrawals, you can also do that. So let's go and take a look at a couple of things. We're going to go to Savings and Investments, and let's take a look at a couple of accounts. Paul's RRSP, for example. Let's take a look at withdrawal limits. Let's say I have a specific RRSP withdrawal strategy in mind. Rather than leaving it to as needed, I could do scheduled only, minimum balance, percentage, amount with inflation, or amount. Let's do scheduled only in this example. And then I'm going to do planned withdrawals. And I'm going to add a withdrawal schedule. And let's say I want to do RRSP withdrawal for Paul. And we're going to do a percentage. And let's say we do an 8% withdrawal recurring. We're going to update the timing of that withdrawal, and let's say we start those withdrawals when he retires, and we end them either when that account runs out or when he passes away. So the software is smart enough to know to just end those withdrawals when the account runs out of money. And we're going to click Done to save. And now that we've scheduled those withdrawals on the cash flow chart, you will see in yellow we have some planned withdrawals coming out of that account every year. So you can either let the software do the liquidation order strategy, or you can more tightly control them through planned withdrawals. So going into year view, we can now see starting in his first year of retirement in cash flow, we have $75,000 coming out of his RRSP, and we can go all the way to the end of the plan, and that's when those end the year before. And we can go into the pension tab and see we've got scheduled withdrawals coming out of that account. I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any questions about expense fulfillment or liquidation order logic or anything else that you're working on, send us an email, or you can reach out to us by clicking the name of your client, hitting request support, entering your message into the text box, and sharing client access. Thanks for listening.